like it drives now.
What does real equality look like?
Up the inside! Gutierrez takes the lead from R.04. Oh, it's run!
Oh! What does real equality sound like?
Oh, massive hit!
What does real equality feel like? The first gender-equal motorsport.
Gutierrez and Taylor side by side. It's a brilliant move.
Our commitment to equality is written in stone.
Maybe the closest finish ever in Extreme E history.
And it's here to stay.
She's absolutely sending it out there.
This is equality. This is Extreme E.
Yes, gender equality is in the DNA of this pioneering sport, as we welcome you to Scotland for round 4 of Extreme E 2024.
The stunning landscapes of Dumfries and Galloway are about to play host to the Hydro X Prix, and if last year's action is anything to go by, we're in for a thriller.
This all-electric off-road championship is about so much more than just racing, as we tour the globe raising awareness about climate change while leaving a lasting legacy at every race location. This time, the action will unfold in a former coal mine that's being transformed into a hydro power plant.
16 of the world's best off-road drivers are about to go wheel to wheel, with female and male drivers racing on equal terms in the fight to be crowned Extreme E champions.
I'm Jenny Gow. Alongside me is Andrew Coley with Laura Winter in the paddock, as we bring you all the best of the action from the Hydro X Prix.
We started the season back in February in Saudi Arabia. Jeddah was the venue, sand and rocks the surface. Our winners were Rosberg X Racing and Acciona Science.
That brings us to this weekend's action and the Hydro X Prix in Scotland. Dumfries and Galloway to be exact, and the terrain, grass, mud and gravel.
We then head down to the Mediterranean, a very familiar venue, the Island X Prix in Sardinia. 14th to the 15th of September, wildfires is the theme, dry earth and ruts, and we'll be staying down there, in fact, Jenny, for another pair of events the following weekend.
Yeah, we like it so much. We'll be back on the 21st and 22nd of September 2024.
For the final 2 rounds of the season, we will be heading across to the USA for the first time ever for Extreme E. Phoenix in Arizona. There's plenty of action still to come, so let's remind ourselves of how it has unfolded so far this year.
Extreme E returned to the deserts of Saudi Arabia for the first 2 rounds of Season 4, the Desert X Prix. With 2 new teams joining the championship, including the first ever female Saudi driver to compete, and rallycross legend and 11 times X Games gold medalist Travis Pastrana.
Get another shot to try to beat Matthias Ekstrom. I'm in.
The drivers battled it out in the rocky and sandy terrain of Jeddah. Reigning champions Rosberg X Racing carried their Season 3 title-winning form into 2024, finishing top of the qualifying standings. Yes! Veloce Racing, Neon McLaren and Acciona Science joined them in the first grand final of the season for one of the most exciting races in Extreme E history.
An incredible line from Matthias Ekstrom comes out. It's super wide up the inside, trying to get all the way to the lead, and he does. Ekstrom with an unbelievable cutback. Christina Gutierrez. Oh, contact between them. Up the inside. A lot, side by side. It's going to be enough, surely. Gutierrez takes the lead from R.04.
She's on your inside. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Yes, go on, go on.
Arlen Kotlinski looking to the inside line, makes the pass back again. After an incredible battle with Gutierrez, she takes the win.
Rosberg X Racing continued to dominate on day 2, coming out as top qualifiers again to set up another grand final with Acciona Sainz and Andretti Ulterkilat. Veloce took the remaining spot with a quicker time in the Continental Traction Challenge than Neon McLaren. Acciona Sainz got the whole shot and never looked back in a sprint to the finish line.
Acciona Sainz get the win. We are in for a hell of a season.
Round 3 in Scotland kicked off with a bang.
Oh, it's wrong! Oh, Clara Anderson!
As the Sun Mini Meal car rounded the final corner in qualifying and Clara Anderson went flying. They did manage to rebuild that car thanks to a lot of help from other teams. But the day went to E.ON Next Veloce Racing, who took the clean sweep, top qualifiers, the win and 2 extra points for the Continental Traction Challenge. They now move into the lead of the championship ahead of Acciona Sainz and Rosberg X Racing.
Here are the championship standings after round 3 in Scotland. That win puts E.ON Next Veloce's Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor at the top of the table. Acciona Sainz remaining P2. Rosberg X Racing dropped from the top down to P3, but just 8 points covering those top 3 teams. Andretti Ulterkilat at 4th. Neon McLaren Extreme E down in P5. Legacy Motor Club in 6th after their win in the redemption race. Sun Mini Meal in 7th. And in P8, it's JVXE.
So hopefully that's brought you up to speed and up to action. It was a thrilling day yesterday. Hopefully you joined us. If you didn't, don't worry, because we're going to do the whole thing again today. I'm Jenny Gow. Alongside me is Andrew Coley. Laura Winter has braved it down in the paddock, and apparently she's not wearing a coat today.
Sun shining look in Scotland. It seems they've got shadows on the ground. That's going to dry things out a bit. Apparently it did rain overnight, so I'm sure we're expecting some different conditions from yesterday. Very much looking forward to getting started with round 4.
So, if you haven't joined us yet, let's remind you of what's happened this season. This is where we're up to. This is round 4, but this has been what's happened before.
3 from 3 podiums so far for Veloce, and now the big win here in Scotland for the 2nd year in a row. Molly, a brilliant start from you. I'm sure you've learnt a lot from racing to take in to round 4.
Yeah, it's been an exciting day, and to take sort of max points away from the weekend in all the qualies and Continental Traction Challenge as well, and then the win. It's a perfect start to the weekend here. But as you say, we've got another big day coming up, so now it's taking everything we've learned from today and full focus on what we've got coming up.
This is an amazing insight into your mentality, because I thought you'd come over full of beans and still really in the moment. But Kevin, you were already straight into how racing is going to go in round 4. And I guess you've got to kind of park it and then move on, haven't you? Because there is still work to do.
Yeah, well, not park like Molly in the switch on.
I'm never going to get that.
That was the last time, I promise. No, for sure.
It was enough. You still did it.
No, for sure. You have to enjoy for a second, but there is a race tomorrow, and the job is far from done. You get 1 win, which is great on home soil for the team, but there is 3 more races. Everybody's super hungry, and we like winning. That's the Veloce spirit for sure. So we got to keep working on that. Keep moving forward. Nobody's standing still. Everyone wants to get past us. So now the heavy work begins to try and find a little bit more everywhere. And I mean, I'm really excited that it's another day tomorrow, because it's such a fun track. It's a really good feeling in the car, and I think we're really having a strong package right now.
It was a pretty much perfect round 3 for you guys, so well done, and best of luck heading into round 4. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Laura.
We like winning. I mean, they do. They do. And when we say they, it's a pairing. This is the other thing. And I have to say, Molly Taylor, you can see on your screen right there, moves up to P2 in the list of winners ever. So Johann's on 9. She's now on 7. 1 ahead of Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski. But it is a pair in every team. 1 male, 1 female. Super important to the series. And it's time to meet some of the female trailblazers of Extreme E.
Always when people ask me who my role model is, it's my mom. It sounds maybe a bit cheesy, but she is.
I often say not everyone is lucky to grow up with a mom who's been a rally driver.
When I had full throttle for the first time on the straight, that's when I was like, okay, I should try to do this.
I started in little cars and motorbikes when I was 4 years old because my father loves this world and he put me in a motorbike when I was 4 years old. And when I was 6 years old, I asked to my father to, please give me your car. Win the Dakar.
It was an amazing moment in my race career. It was a little dream since I was very young, and I think I never forget.
I think racing is in my blood. Both my parents and my granddad actually competed in rallying. My mum was actually a professional co-driver, so that was her 9-to-5 day job. So I actually grew up horse riding, and that was my goal when I was younger. I wanted to go to the Olympics for horse riding, and it wasn't until I spent a day at a rally school that my dad was running at the time when we were getting our driving licenses for the road, and he wanted to take us off the road and teach us some car control and those skills, and that for me was my first experience in driving a rally car and driving on gravel, and I just instantly fell in love and kind of turned back to them and said, you know, why didn't we do this 10 years ago? Rallying in Australia is not as big as it is in Europe for sure. There aren't as many opportunities, so for me it was really important to get over to Europe to take the next step. I think it was a tough adjustment moving to Europe. It is very different to Australia, and I think also just being away from your networks as well. I remember I was renting a barn because I didn't have much money. I definitely remember it being quite tough because I was like 20, all my friends were out partying and doing all these things, and I was like alone in a barn or in a workshop. So yeah, like it was definitely tough, but I think it's, you know, it was never a question of, oh, this is too hard, I want to go home. It was like, this is tough, but this is what I got to do. So, you know, a lot of cool memories from that time as well.
I started riding when I was only 4. One day I stole my brother's bike. My parents explained me that they listen to noise outside, and it was me with my brother's bike. When I was young, I had not many female role models because on trials I was one of the first. Of course, Extreme helps on the quality, and it's something that I've been fighting during all my life because for me it was quite hard to get good opportunities. More than the results I got makes me really proud, and the new generations of girls, they have already an example, and for me it's a big honor. If you believe, if you work, you can do big things.
Laia Sands was the last shot there in our little feature, and here she is with some of the young ladies from Girls on Track. Jenny, you're an ambassador for Girls on Track. It's a great scheme, and lovely to see people like Laia taking part in inspiring those girls to get stuck in.
Exactly, and this is what it's all about. It's about pathways and showing that whatever you want to do, it is possible. Male, female, young, old, you just have to go for it, and that's what these drivers are doing out on track. Laia Sands, the perfect example, and a good day yesterday as well.
Yeah, talking of yesterday, these are some of our points. So this was the start in Q1 race 1 where Scheider gave Molly Taylor a couple of hits. Taylor's car survived. In fact, they went on to win this race after a bunch of penalties for people. This was Kevin Hansen passing Andreas Backerud. Backerud got back up the inside of Kevin here, side by side. That took his tyre off the rim. The contacts, and now Andreas ends up in the ditch. I mean, it was the first race of the day, Jenny, and that wasn't even the most spectacular moment.
No, it felt like it was chaotic already as they rode the ditches, but then this happened. An almighty crash. Clara Anderson at the wheel, and that Sun Mini Mill car absolutely destroyed. Thankfully, she was okay.
Yeah, she was indeed. We had teammates racing each other too, which was great. This was Gutierrez, who of course has moved to McLaren against McConnell, who was a teammate last year at X44. Fraz in the end went all the way around the outside. Gutierrez had knocked a tyre off the rim. I have to say that's very different than a puncture, as long as you guys understand at home, it's the drivers pushing the tyres off the side of the rim, absolutely on the limit of what they can do. And Fraz had to go the long way round because she did a brilliant job of keeping the door shut. Some great racing.
Yeah, it was really fun yesterday. This was the other race, and you can see the getting off the line is so crucial to where you end up in that race. You want a clear windscreen, and this was just a battle between the two. I mean, there's no love lost, is there, between JBXE and Veloce?
No, absolutely not. There's some, again, more side-by-side stuff here. This was Kevin and Andreas, and Kevin got a penalty for going inside the flag after the contact, but he was so far in front that actually they were okay. This was Scheider, tapping the wall after a bit of contact off the start with Amanda Sorensen. And then Patrick O'Donovan, who's standing in for Travis Pastrana last time. It's going to be Jimmy Johnson at some point for Legacy Motor Club. And Patrick managed to put a good pass on Amanda Sorensen. This was Scheider then passing Sorensen, a little bit of contact. Sorensen's car shut down, which was really annoying. They managed to get it going again, and they continued in the race.
But by that time, the race was over for them. Look at this, going up the hill. Acciona Sainz taking on RXR. Just a little tap, and actually it put RXR out of the race. You can just see the stricken RXR car by the side.
Yeah, brilliant day, though, for Veloce. Absolutely fantastic. They won everything.
So hopefully you've got a feel for our track, but let's take you around it on the virtual reality. So you can see where the start is, then they go to the Craig and they then go up that hill and into the Continental Traction Challenge, worth 2 points this weekend for every day. It's combined time for both the male and female, their fastest time, and yesterday Veloce took it.
Yeah, they did indeed. They actually took it, they've taken it once already this year. They've only had 3 Continental Traction Challenges, and 2 of them have been this year, which I think is a sign of the form they're in. Jenny asked Johan yesterday what's the hardest part of this track, and he said it's the long sequence of corners uphill leading into the Traction Challenge, and that's because if you make a mistake in one, it affects your speed through all of them. So from here, the whole way, look at it, it's uphill the whole way. Momentum, momentum, momentum. Inoa hyperdrives as well.
Yeah, they've
Great
used
place.
that up the hill, as you say, a lot of the time. It's still really tactical when it comes to the Inoa hyperdrive. When do you use it? Are you attacking? Are you defending? Are you trying to get that Continental Traction Challenge? What is your priority as a team? And they will sit down as a team and go through all of that to make sure they're doing the right thing for them. Right. In case you're new to the sport, let's remind you of how Extreme E works. It's fascinating, it's thrilling, and we've got a whole load of things to chuck at you over this less wait.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 8 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Inoa hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge part of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 4 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 4 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle. 10 rounds, 1 champion.
That was fun, wasn't it? Really fun, but it's not all about racing. Look at those, they're so cute.
Ostriches, that's what it's all about, Jenny. Ostriches, beavers we released at some point, didn't we?
Anytime.
Salmon up here in Scotland.
Anytime they show us anything to do with animals, we're all in, aren't we?
Well, all in. We saw a hawk yesterday, didn't we?
We did, it was digesting.
Osprey. We're hearing. How fantastic.
That tells us. Anyway, it's all about legacy, and Extreme E aims to leave a lasting difference in each of its race locations. In Season 1, Extreme E became the first motorsport championship to race in Greenland. 4 years on, the drivers are still returning to work with the local community and understanding the issues the Arctic region faces daily.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
Hello, Hetta. I'm very much wishing I was there with you. That's an amazingly blue sky behind you.
We've been very lucky. So yesterday I was on the ice sheet and I heard the ice is melting faster and faster.
Yeah, that's right, Hetta. We're very fortunate to have Professor Peter Warrens, one of the great experts on ice and ice melts. And Peter's flagged the increasing rate of ice melts. And the number that they've picked out now maps on to about 30 million tons an hour of meltwater. It equates to about 16 million of the Extreme E cars, and those weigh about 2 tons each.
What does that mean for the rest of the world?
A key response will be sea level rise. There's a million years worth of ice locked up in Greenland. If all of that melted, then we'd be looking at 7 meters of global sea level rise. That would take out a lot of cities around the world. So Heta, I reckon you should jump on a boat and go and have a look at this for yourself.
Andreas Backerud joined Hedda Hossas on an exciting journey to learn about ice and icebergs firsthand.
100,000 years ago, the icebergs were part of the ice cap. And they run into the glacier and eventually it will carve, fall into the fjord. And all the icebergs we have out here broke off about a year ago. It takes 1 year from it breaks off till it reaches this point where we are right now. This one wasn't here 5 days ago.
This one, the big thing here?
The big one right here.
What?
Yeah. So it's moving very fast.
Did you hear that?
The drivers also discovered the impact of climate change on the local communities and wildlife in Greenland.
We're going to go dog sledging. I think they're going to be rapidly fast, kind of like our extreme e-car.
Our season of going out with dogs is getting shorter and shorter because the weather is changing all the time. If they don't have this job, then they will not be here. So maybe it can collapse and the breed will not be there anymore. And a big part of our culture will disappear.
Caribou is very, very important for Greenland. In winter, it will be more rain instead of snow, and this rain on the snow means ice, and this ice will encapsulate all the plants so they will not eat, so the mortality will be very high.
We have a lot of tourists coming in from all over the world. A very common question to us is that what are we going to do about it? But I think we live only 56 people up here, and it's a very, very, very big country. So we just have to turn it around and say, what are you going to do about it?
Absolutely fascinating, isn't it? I mean, I could listen to those experts and professors talk all day about Greenland and the dramatic effect that we're having up there, but it's time to go racing.
Indeed. I'd like to go to Greenland. I would like to go and have a look at that. I really would. I think it was a spectacular location. One of my favourites, definitely. But as you say, yes, we're in Scotland, double-header weekend. Rounds 3 and 4, and 4 is happening today. Can't wait for this. Let's see if it's as exciting as yesterday. Anyone can take it, that is for sure.
It is an absolutely beautiful morning here in Scotland for round 4 of the Hydro X Prix. Don't mind a few midges in the air. Gray Ledbetter alongside me. We're soaking up the sunshine. It's warm as well, but it has been raining pretty heavily overnight. It's drying up now, but how do you think conditions may have changed out there, Gray?
We just went and looked at the start line. It's definitely muddy, but you know what? It's Scotland, and you're going to expect rain when you come here. And so the track definitely looks muddy. Patrick goes out first. He had a strong run yesterday. Well, we both did, but he had a strong good on his starts. So we're just going to see how he gets off the line and go from there. And if we follow up how we did yesterday, we should be looking good.
Yeah, a win in the redemption race was absolutely brilliant for you guys. And how will you look to hopefully transform that into potentially a place in your first grand final?
We had a really good car set up at the end of the day yesterday. We worked super hard on that, and we have a good baseline for this morning. So we're looking really good, and we're both feeling so good in the car. And we're not far off pace. We're really on pace for that matter. So we're both super excited and are really looking forward for today.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Gray. Avoid the midges. Thank you so much for your chat. Good luck today. Of course, in our first race of the morning, we're going to find one of the guys who'll be going alongside Legacy Motor Club, and that is Andreas Backerud of JBXE. So close to the final yesterday, and then what happened to you guys in the redemption race? So frustrating.
Yeah, we had a failure on some electronic. To be honest, I don't even know. Amanda was in the car, but she had to restart the car and get going again, and then it's kind of lost because you lose at least 30-45 seconds.
What did you learn from yesterday you'll take into today, and how will you potentially adapt some of your driving given potentially changing conditions after the rain overnight?
Yeah, we saw, you know, obviously Amanda is used to the Chip Ganassi team, and they had some different tactics in the switch bay and so on, and I think we just need to dial everything in to not make any mistakes, because I think like for me, I had an incident with Kevin, got a puncture. We should have won that one. Then only a P3 would be enough in the second heat and we will be in the final. Instead we come out with the second and third, which was the same points as RXR and but too slow in the traction challenge with half a second. So that was a real bummer, but today we start all the way on the outside, which is P1. It's weird, I know, but we're starting on the left side. Gonna have to go around the outside, but we had good starts yesterday, so we bring that with us, and hopefully we can put the elbows out and squeeze in. So let's see.
Let's see. We're excited to see. Thank you very much, Andreas. Best of luck to you today. Well, that racing is coming up any moment now. This is qualifying 1, race number 1.
Qualifying sessions coming up then for round 4. This is Q1. Remember, there are 2 races in this session, then a further 2 in the next one. They get points for their finishing positions, and that decides whether they go into the grand final or the redemption race. 4 into each. If you're on the cut-off point and you're equal on points, as we saw yesterday, then the faster team in the Continental Traction Challenge is the team that will go through. Oh, it's wet down there, look, on the starting area. So conditions do look a bit different to yesterday, and we can talk to an expert because Clara Anderson is down in the Vodafone Business Command Centre. Clara, you are our weather expert for this morning. All smiles. I'm sure you're ready to go, and I'm sure you won't be repeating yesterday. What are the track conditions like out there?
Yeah, good morning to everyone. Yeah, so it's looking a little bit wet. So they have been watering the track, especially, I would say, all over the track, but especially on the gravel in sector 4 and 1. So for sure we will be seeing some slippery slides now in the first heat at least.
It looks like, good morning by the way, it looks like you've got the ideal starting place. What are the tactics going down and into that first turn for you?
I hope so, and Timo, as we call him, the start professor, so hopefully he has a good launch and can hand over to me in P1, but we will do our best.
The start professor, I like that, that's a great name for him. The inside line is tricky, isn't it, Clara? If you're not clearly up to the braking point in first, you have to back off to get the car turned in. So whilst it's the inside line, he will need that good start if you're going to execute.
Yeah, definitely. So fingers crossed that we have a bit of a smoother run today and we can really show what the team Sun Mini Mill can do.
Oh, you had such a big day yesterday. Fingers crossed you're going to have a smashing day today and not in the more car sense. Just keep it on the road.
Good luck, Clara. Thanks very much. We'll speak to you later. So if you look at the grid in front of Timo, actually, I was looking at the shots a minute ago, and I would say they have the driest run to the first corner. Now, whether or not that will lead to more traction, you see what I mean? Have a look there. The Sun Mini Mill car, right-hand side of the grid, is dry on the run up to it. So Kevin Hansen for Veloce. Chill mode at the moment. They had a brilliant day. They won everything yesterday. Can they do the same again today?
Attention all teams, stand by for the start of the Hydro X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 1 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
His voice sounds great, morning, noon or night. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. So you can see there, Vodafone Business Command Centre, all the drivers starting to get ready. It's Sun Mini Mill, Legacy, Veloce, JBXE going for it in qualifying 1, heat 1.
So Legacy, I think, will be feeling a little bit more confident today. Patrick definitely found his feet, didn't he? Patrick O'Donovan in the redemption race yesterday. They won the redemption race, which is their best result so far. I think they had a couple of P3s back in Saudi Arabia. Sorry, P2s. They're 2 P2s in Saudi Arabia. So Patrick might be feeling a bit better. Gray led better, obviously, with a bit more time in the car as well. Veloce definitely the team to beat after yesterday's performance. We know that Baccarad on the outside will be hoping for a good result as well. There is an equal split between male and female starting today, but just the way the grid draws have gone means it's all males starting race 1 and all females starting race 2.
Okay, that's a 15-second count. We are under starters' orders.
Kevin Hansen now starting to get into that familiar pose of getting himself ready to launch down to turn 1. Scheider's got to get a perfect start if he wants to make use of that inside grid slot. It is a good start, and he waits just a little bit longer to use the hyperdrive on the outside. Backward went early with the Yanoa hyperdrive. He gets to turn 1 easily in the lead, just in front of Timo Scheider. Patrick O'Donovan is inside Kevin Hansen at the minute. Kevin will make the cut back on the exit here. Kevin Hansen trying to straighten up the Veloce in the background. Side by side with Patrick O'Donovan. O'Donovan puts the squeeze on him. Kevin takes a flag down on the left-hand side. That's highly likely to be a penalty immediately. He has to duck back out, so O'Donovan holds on to P3. Scheider is P2, but leading at the moment, Andreas backward for JBXE.
Yeah, great start there for JBXE, really wide and fast and managing to clear all of that mud out of the way. You can see the track's been watered, so there's lots of mud and visibility is really hard. But out front, it is Andreas Bacro for JBXE, and you can see the pass there, or trying to get by inside, outside, flicks it back, going on the grass. No, just staying on the mud today, but Veloce just can't get past.
It's a lot wetter today, and you can see a big difference in the surfaces. So this here, this is mud, this is grass that's been cut down to mud base, and you'll see some sections which are gravel. The grip in those areas is very different. You saw Kevin went out wide to try and get a better exit. He couldn't get the traction. Now he does, though, cuts back. O'Donovan gets a bit of understeer. Kevin uses the grass on the inside line. They're up to P3, but if Veloce want to have a day like they had yesterday, look at the visibility. That's on board with O'Donovan. The wiper's doing absolutely nothing. He's had a shocker there, so O'Donovan's going to drop off. Look at his screen. Yeah, he cannot see anything.
That's impossible. I don't know how he's going to carry on racing, but I mean, Veloce are doing so well. They've closed that gap up to the Sun Mini-Mel car. Sun Mini have taken the flag down as well. So that's an error on their part. I don't know what's gone on there, but they've lost a lot of drive. So maybe they've got something wrong with the car, but Veloce have taken them out and taken them into second place.
So Veloce having a result here, because Patrick O'Donovan is going to lose tons of time, can't see. Scheider's now getting the same penalty they've got, so they're in P2. They've gone from P4 with a penalty 25 seconds ago to P2 and holding on to P2, and they'll now try and close down Andreas Backward in front. Backward and Hansen had some great races yesterday, and Backward, of course, want to hand over to Sorensen with hopefully that 5-second penalty still for Veloce from their point of view. Veloce, of course, will want to get in front and try and gap them by 5.
Hansen is on it. He's closed that gap from about 5 seconds down to 3.5 seconds. So he's absolutely, and now it's under 3 seconds. Hansen is on absolute fire. He's taken the form from yesterday through to today, and this is just the second lap. There will be 4 laps in total. They're going to go into the switch and hand over to their other driver.
They're really hunting for grip. I don't know if you saw in the onboard there, you can see them moving across. They're looking at a little bit like you see in circuit racing when the conditions change and you see drivers moving from the wet to the dry line. They're moving across the grass. Look at the rotation Kevin Hansen put on that car on the way into the corner. He's trying to guarantee turn-in, so left foot on the brake. Same here with Andreas Backward. Back the car in, slide the rear end. Kevin is really hunting now. I don't think he'll get Andreas before the switch, but that doesn't matter. He'll want to hand over to Taylor and send her out right on Sorensen's tail after the switch.
You have to feel sorry for O'Donovan out there, knowing that he can't really see anything.
Christopherson had it yesterday, Jenny. He sent us the onboard. Here it is now. So this is how much the screen has cleared in a lap. To me, the water squirters aren't working there. So they've got the wipers themselves are, but you have to have water delivered if you want mud off the screen. They'll chuck a bucket of water over that. I mean, now they're so far back, to be honest, they probably won't get any more mud on the screen, but it's he's not doing badly, actually. He's only 5 seconds behind Scheider.
The gap is down to 1.2 seconds between Andreas Backroad. You can see there the JBXE colours out front and then the Veloce. And as they come into the switch, they'll slam on the brakes, going to 30 kilometres an hour. And look, that gap is now under a second.
I loved it, seeing Backward coming in there. So they come through this right-hander and they're braking so late and it's so slippery, they're crossing the line sideways.
So the tyre has come off the rim, I think, on that Sun car. I've just had a look at it. It didn't seem quite right. And it looked like that has come off its rim.
Another look at the start. So this was Hansen on the inside of O'Donovan. And he just, I think, did he down the flag further back down the hill? I think he had. This is the moment Scheider locks up. Look, you see the fronts are locked. Desperately trying to avoid that flag and can't. Then he runs deep. Kevin gets up the inside. So I anticipate a penalty for both those. Look at the mud on the front of the car. Bucket water over the top.
I mean, it's sticky mud as well. It's not any mud, it's Scottish sticky mud, and visibility is still going to be tricky.
Yeah, there's a wheel.
Legacy are trying to replace a wheel
They
there
had a
as
puncture
well.
yesterday.
And Sun Mini Mill. They're both having to replace punches. But this is the fight for the lead. They come out, there's 1 minute and 8 separating JBXE from Veloce. Taylor takes that on, and look at the work that's going on to replace this. They're allowed one mechanic, the true drivers, and that's it.
Apologies if you heard my cough, I missed my button.
Oh.
So there we go. It's super close at the front. There are 2 at the back, Jenny. It's kind of this is an F1 pit stop-esque, you know, tyre change. Who gets it done quickly enough is going to be the team that heads out first, potentially. There was only 3 seconds between Legacy Motor Club and Sun Mini Mill when they came in, and there was 1.8 here between Baccarat and Hansen. They are handed over, and it is Sorensen and Taylor. Look at that in the Switchstone area. Look, the conditions are so different.
So different from yesterday. I mean, we saw yesterday that it was tricky, but this mud is just launching up into the face of, or the windscreen of that Veloce car, and Molly Taylor will have to be on her A game if she's going to make this challenge and pass on Amanda Sorensen and JBXE at the front.
Now, if you're wondering, Spark, who make these cars, they are aware that the wipers, you know, didn't end up being the best design. We know there've been problems. So the next car, the Extreme H car, which you hopefully have seen a bit of this weekend, has a new wiper mechanism. It's one big central one. Oh, there you go. Visibility to the drone. We don't even have wipers on the drone. We better get Spark onto that as well. So yeah, new wiper system, Jenny. It was one of the first questions some people asked me on Instagram when they saw it in the colour. Have they changed the wiper? And they have. It's a big central thing with 2 motors on it and 2 arms. And I'm sure it'll be more water as well. That's Sun Mini Mill heading out. So have they beaten Legacy Motor Club? I think they have.
Yeah, they seem to be just ahead of them. So that's the battle for 3rd place between Sun Mini Mill and Legacy Motorsport, but this is the battle for 1st place. And Amanda Sorensen, I was so impressed by her driving style yesterday. They were a bit unlucky in the end, but actually they both did really well. This is Legacy Motor Club heading out. They're in 4th place at the moment, so their pit stop is done.
Their gap was 15 to the car in front. When they leave, we'll give you an update on how much time they've lost or gained.
Oh, who needs a rear end?
Bodywork off Taylor's car.
That's okay.
Taylor is in P2 here. Say that we was looking like. Remember, they'd need to be 5 seconds in front. Although we're not actually seeing any flag investigations. But I don't think we need to see an investigation when we saw the flag get run over. She's just gone straight on where Scheide did, Jenny. They're having to be really patient. The gravel will have a lot more grip, as you can see here. When they're on the mud sections, they're really having to wait on the throttle. They're having to get the car moving on the way in. Sorensen's doing a fantastic job here. She's gapping Taylor, who yesterday was the dominant force.
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking good for them at the moment. They've extended that gap to 6 seconds. And just look at that class coming round that 2nd turn.
And that's what I mean about the gravel, so you can get some rotation done. We'll watch the difference in a minute when they get up onto the really slippery stuff, and you'll see you turn in, you wait, you feel, has the car got any grip, and then when the grip comes, you can start to open up the throttle. You don't want to open up the throttle too much, you can go into too much understeer, oversteer, you can run wide. You want to be as close to those flags as you can. The gap's up to 7.5. Brilliant job here so far by Sorensen. Look at this. Look at the difference in colour of the surface. There's a lot of roost on the outside. Really tough to drive. See there, look how sideways the car's gone. It's so hard to drive in these conditions. You're feeling it in every corner, and it changes on every lap.
Do you know what? Hard, but so fun. It looks like all of the drivers are just being able to spin that wheel, get the feeling of it.
Jenny, I want to take you to rally school for the day. I think we should go and do it. So I was lucky enough to work at a bunch of them over the years, and I think Jenny Gown needs to come to a rally school with me. Let's go. When are we going?
I'm there all day long.
Okay, then
whenever you want.
But it's so tricky, mate. And here, look at the grooves that are appearing. So brilliant conditions today. It's nice to see it. We were saying earlier, Jenny, we'd love to see a track change overnight. Now that's not practical. It's not that easy. But the weather, look, has given us a lovely track change in terms of how much grip there is out there.
I mean, this is JBXE. This is Jenson Button's team in Jenson Button's colour, and you couldn't get more different from the style of driving, because F1 is all about clean lines and picking it out, but this is all about down and dirty, and you can see Andreas Backrud at the command centre.
Just spotting himself on screen, you know, just like anyone at home who sees himself on a big screen. Big smile for Andreas.
Loving this. So JBXE come down the hill. the first race of the day, and look at them. They come through the finishing line victorious. 12 seconds is the gap between them and Veloce. Well done.
They doubled it. They have doubled the gap in 2 laps. That is brilliant.
Here comes Veloce. Wasn't the perfect start for them, but actually, with all that mud flicking around, they did a really good job out there.
Being P4, Jenny with the down flag, it looked like they were going to have a shocker, and they've actually ended up in P2. So after what was a pretty rough start for Kevin.
Clara Anderson bringing the Sun Mini Mail car home again. Some bodywork off of that one. They redid the whole car yesterday. They've painted it, done decal on it, but yeah. They'll have to do a bit more work on it. I tell you what, they're going to have to clean these cars well, because they'll come out spotless for the next round.
Straight on again, Jenny. So straight on again on the brakes. It's just ultra slippery out there. It's Clara going straight on this time. Timo did it earlier. There, look, she's gone to the grass to look for traction.
Yeah, that grass is the only place you can actually get some traction at the back there. But we saw it yesterday. They took the lines again. Oh, it's just so bogged down, isn't it?
I wonder if they need to dial something in on that car, because to me it's looked hard to drive the whole time. Both Timo and Clara, who remember are world-class drivers, have been struggling to get it round. So they maybe erred on the side of slightly stiffer settings and could have done with something a bit softer to generate a bit more grip.
But yeah. Laura asked the questions, because I'm sure she'll get it.
Yeah.
Sun Mini Mail come round to finish in 3rd place then. And that looked like hard work for that team, but they've got it across the line. That's what matters. And you never quite know what else is going to happen along the way, so all those points will count.
Ray Ledbetter, the last to finish. Just got to bring it home safe now. And then those teams that are in P3 and P4, they really need to aim for the checkered flag in Q2 if you want to make the cut. There we go. So very tricky conditions this morning. I think if you're in race 2, Jenny, you might be getting a little radio call now, might you, from the team going, listen, it's a little bit slippery between waypoint 1 and waypoint 27.
Yeah. Very good. Right, let's go down to the command centre. Andreas Backerud just saw his car win. Well, that was good. You enjoyed that?
Very slippery. Very slippery between waypoint 1 and 27. I can agree to that.
Mate, it looks tricky but you guys, definitely the least mistakes. Maybe your car's a bit more dialed in. It does look tricky out there, Andreas. So, I mean, what's the key? And it seems to be changing on every lap as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard Kevin saying, oh, I love to beat Andreas yesterday, and I just love beating Kevin as well. So I had him off the line, did lap 1, and we had a great gap, and then I tried to okay, we're gonna take the car to the checkered flag or into switch bay. So I slowed down a little bit, and as soon as you give away a little bit time in these greasy, muddy conditions, then you give away so much time. So I ended up doing a lot of mistakes, but luckily, you know, Amanda's been flying out there, and she showed today Molly is one of the top contenders in the championship, always been, and she outperformed her. So well done to Amanda and to JBXE and everybody involved, because they have worked so hard. So hopefully today we just want to put the car in the final.
Oh, fingers crossed. I mean, the conditions out there, as you say, really hard to see. But you had a clean screen all the time. You've saved your team a whole load of work.
Yeah, and like my mechanics say, please no more bumpers and fenders and carbon fiber, because we've pretty done our car look like it's been having a grenade inside the doors and locked the doors and bam, and then we deliver it back. So I think they're pretty happy to. Actually, we lost the rear bumper in that last lap, but other than that, I think the car looked in one condition, or mint condition. This
time, hopefully, then make just a quick wash and you'll be able to crack on with the rest of the day. Well done. What a fantastic start for you and Amanda. She doubled the gap, and it was brilliant. So Andreas Backerud, Amanda Sorensen, congratulations, and we'll see you later.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love the spirit down there. It just looks like they're all having fun, they're all appreciating each other, and they're forming a really tight group that wants to beat each other. Right, qualifying 1, Heat 1 results. In 4th place, Legacy Motor Club. Sun Mini Mail in 3rd place, then Veloce in 2nd place, 12 seconds behind the eventual winners. It was JBXE, Sorensen and Backerud teaming up perfectly this morning to find those nice dry bits. Let's take a look at the highlights of that race then. Here we go. You can see JBXC getting the perfect spot, swinging around the outside and being in prime position for the second turn, which they then go up the hill. Sun Mini Mills just taking it a little bit right. You can see how close Legacy and Veloce were going up this hill, down waypoint flag. You saw it there. They are being investigated now. There's a couple of investigations coming up for the different teams. But JBXC out in front, ahead of the Sun Mini Mill team. And you can see this battle between Legacy and Veloce just raging, quietly building away. Veloce looking for any way they can around.
I like the battle that's raging between Kevin Hansen and Trash Baccarin for the best quote in the command centre as well. As they old rivals, and this was Kevin's brilliant move earlier, wasn't it? Just going on the grass, Jenny. Straight back on the slippery stuff. Look at that. Look at that.
Yes, the visibility wasn't ideal. I think you could definitely say that.
That's fair, yeah, that's fair.
Patrick Donovan doing a really good job just getting that car back so that they could treat it in the switch zone. And you can see, I mean, the difference in the windscreen was, I mean, night and day, literally almost.
Yeah, but you're right, it is like night. Honestly, I promise you, it's like somebody throwing a dark blanket over the windscreen. And when you're traveling even at 30 miles an hour, you are covering so much ground so quickly that you just are desperate to see where you're going. And it's so hard. So, yeah, tricky stuff. Look at the difference there, off the slippery stuff onto the gravel, and immediately the car grips up.
Yeah, absolutely. They go into the switch zone. This is Molly Taylor taking over. The mud caked on the front of that. An extreme challenge for Extreme E. And the cars go out again. And there wasn't much separating the cars at that point for first and second. Third and fourth back in there doing that puncture repair, taking the workload on themselves to try and get that tyre back up and running. And this is Molly Taylor trying to hunt down Amanda Sorensen. Mud flinging everywhere. You can see our drone took a direct hit. Lap 4 and the final lap of this. Amanda Sorensen finding her way through this tricky and challenging track.
6 seconds, she doubled the gap. You know, we know Amanda's class because when she came into the series, Jenny, so when someone comes into this series normally, as you well know, it takes them a little while to find their pace. And she came in last year in Saudi Arabia and was immediately on the pace, a bit like Travis actually at the last one. You're like, okay, wow, you've just come in, grabbed the car by the scruff of the neck and gone for it. She's used the handbrake on entry there because you saw both rear tyres lock at the same time. She's very good. And this is a nice opportunity for her just to remind teams, yeah, look, Chip Ganassi are gone, but I'm still here. If you need somebody, you know, I'm for hire. And I think she'd be pretty high on the list now.
Absolutely. I think she's done amazingly out there and proven to everybody that she's here to stay.
So this disused coal mine is going to become a hydroelectric power plant. We actually thought it was going to become one last year, so I was a bit surprised when they said we're going back to Scotland. I was like, wow, maybe we'll have to do E1 instead. But that's the plan for it. It's an incredible piece of kit, if you like, in terms of the technology and how it works. And Scotland is a bit of a leader in this type of power, as is Extreme E, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, you can see in the background all the wind farms, and as you go out to this site, you realise how special it is and how it's going to change the future when it comes to how we do power. It's fascinating.
Well, the theme of the Hydro X Prix is energy, and that's why we're here in Scotland. I'm with 2 Richards. One, Richard, you may have recognised before if you do watch Extreme E, Professor Richard Washington, Chair of the Extreme E Science Committee, and Richard Thompson, partner at Foresight Group, join us now. Richard, coming to you first. You're very clever, so I learn a lot from you. It's called the Hydro X Prix, but there isn't that much water about. So can you explain exactly what this place is all about?
This place is deeply symbolic of everything that Extreme E does. What we have behind us is a disused coal mine. So essentially the problems of climate change have come out of ground like this. But its future is very different. It's going to become a hydroelectric scheme. So 2 dams passing water between each other and generating electricity that's clean.
That's incredible, isn't it? Like one big battery basically storing clean, renewable energy. And Richard, coming to you, this plant will eventually power up to 289,000 homes annually. That's extraordinary. We already know Scotland are world leaders in renewables. What is the future and how is this project going?
Absolutely. So as you say, Scotland is an absolute leader in renewable energy, produces lots and lots of wind power. One of the challenges of that is actually transmitting that power down to England, where lots of the demand is, and other parts of Scotland. So what we're doing is investing in big critical infrastructure assets like this that alleviate the bottlenecks to the energy transition, allow us to put lots more renewables onto the grid. So this is absolutely a fundamental part of delivering clean power by 2030, which is the government's current aim.
And I know Scotland want to completely decarbonise by 2050 as well. So incredible goals and ambitions here in Scotland. And as we say, Richard, Washington, a world leader. How important is this effort, this focus, this project in our fight against climate change?
What we've seen in Scotland is extraordinary growth year on year in renewables, and they've brought on about 15 gigawatts of renewable electricity. It's an astonishing number. You know, the fact is that renewables exist in many countries, but they're not realised, and that makes Scotland different because they are realising what's on offer and will continue to do so into the future. And the future is green for Scotland.
The future is green. What an example they are setting the world as well. Thank you both so much. After a super tough start to this round 4, I'm with Patrick O'Donovan from Legacy Motor Club. Patrick, I'm going to ask you about the visibility, or rather what visibility, because that looked almost impossible.
Yeah, it was pretty sketchy, I'm not going to lie. You know, we primed the wipers going into turn 1 just so that everything's already going. We've got water on the screen to try and help clear it, but coming up the hill there, I was trying to hold off Kevin as much as I could, and I just got like caked with mud from Timo's car, and I just couldn't see a thing there going through the next few waypoints. Just, like, I'm obviously in a position where I'm driving a car for Legacy Motor Club. It's not my own car, and even in my own car, I don't know if I'd continue to push there, because you're going over gap jumps and you've got pretty like substantial gaps in between, and you have no idea what you're seeing. Like, I was going over pinned, just trying to correct everything I could, and then all of a sudden Kevin just went zam, like flying past, and I was like, oh my god. But no, I mean, it's just, yeah, we're just trying to find our way through, and of course we had some pretty bad luck with the puncture. Honestly speaking, I think because it was so muddy out there, I had no idea where I picked up that puncture. I felt a little lost in grip, but not really too sure where we picked it up. You know, we've already had Jimmy Johnson's been texting into our, we've got a little WhatsApp group chat going. He's like, what can we do to try and see, like, maybe we can play around with pressures on the off-road surface to try and, I don't know, heat up some tyre quickly. But no, it is what it is. It's not the most ideal start to the day. Kind of nearly puts you out for the final unless we can have a monstrous win in the next one. But yeah, we'll give it our best.
I'm sure you will. Can you just sum up what it is like to drive when you do have such limited visibility? What's coming over the radio? How are you actually trying to keep it on track?
A lot of luck, I'll be completely honest. No, I mean, like, it's like, imagine someone saying to you, like, you're going to drive down your local country lane as fast as you possibly can, but I'm going to put a blindfold on you and you've just got to do it off of memory. So it's, I don't.
So it's from memory?
Yeah, you're just kind of going off of memory. You're like, the corner's here, we do a little bit of visualization work, so you roughly know where the track's going, but at the same time, you can only really do as much as you possibly can, you know?
Yeah, it's a no from me. So well done to you, and best of luck for qualifying round 2. Thanks, Patrick. Hard luck.
Can't believe she said that was a no from her. I'd be all up for that. Yeah, well, the rain definitely did pour down yesterday and has made some very difficult conditions. But you know what? They're having fun in the paddock at least. Let's take a look.
That did not go according to plan.
Hello and welcome to season 4 of Extreme E. We are about to take you behind the scenes. We're here in Saudi Arabia for the Desert X Prix rounds 1 and 2.
That's huge.
We have got 3 drivers making their debuts, plenty to talk about.
I'm sweating.
Always a hairspray. Oh, you look always gorgeous. Why, thank you, sir. What advice do you have? I know you. Well, no. The advice. Not real advice. I really think this track, you're lucky to come at this one. Good. Because it's not yet difficult. It's just if the ruts get big.
For me, there's 2 things that matter. 1, we get some points for Jimmy and Legacy. 2, we don't roll anything. And 3, we beat Matthias.
Christina Gutierrez, familiar with chasing the R.04. Oh, contact between them. Up the inside. Along, side by side. It's going to be enough, surely. Gutierrez on a roll. McConnell's over on his side. Gutierrez takes the lead from R.04.
She's on your inside. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing.
Yes, go on, go on.
Colin Kotlitsky, after an incredible incredible battle with Gutierrez. She takes the win. It's 0.3 of a second between them at the line. 0.1.
Hello and welcome to season 8.
Hansen up the inside, gets it done this time. Gutierrez leaves just a car's width.
Time to make the move, time to make the move.
Brilliant drive for the Andretti Autokillet team to take the lead. He moves up 2 positions.
Nice, Timmy, nice, well done.
We figured that out. All we have to do is tell Timmy to overtake. We've been missing that for 3.5 seasons.
Really well. I guess that's the one you're using.
Timmy, overtake. Okay.
Well, it's Fraser McConnell who leads at the moment. Fraz would love to pick up the win with Lyas, and so would Laya after the way the end of last season. This would be brilliant, brilliant redemption for both of them. Acciona Sainz get the win from Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen. A brilliant performance by the Andretti Autokillet pair, who are very much back on form.
Let's go!
Sorry, I couldn't see
That's so shaky.
Not a race.
Yeah. We're pushing it. We're pushing it. Well done. Insect.
Come on, Carlos! Come on!
Oh, that's so great to look back at the sun in the Desert X Prix. Did you know we're icons all over the screen, and you can find out more by hitting that QR code. But we have a ban on single-use plastics at race sites, and since season 1, we have saved 75,000 single-use water bottles.
We have these icons on your screen right now. The one on the left is about solar panels. That's all those panels lying down there on the grass. We've also got a hydrogen fuel cell down there, which is used to help charge the cars. The whole paddock is self-sufficient with its own eco power, if you like. And of course, next year we're going to see hydrogen power in the cars with Extreme H. So great stuff down in the paddock with all that technology.
And when we go racing, we race for all. This is a unique series that gets more people into racing, and if you see those pathways, you can be in the sport. Come and join us. It's for everyone, this sport. Extreme E is a race for all.
Well, our second race of the morning is coming up, and RXR made it through to the final yesterday. Michaela Arlen-Kotlin-Ski alongside me, but unlucky. Just talk us through what happened there and what you've learned from that to take into another new day of racing.
Well, yeah, it was a good start, I'd say, and then, you know, I think I was heading into being P2 from the start, which felt good from that position, but then there was a bit of clash between me and Laya, which broke the rear right for us, and then the race was over. So, I mean, I think that's what happens sometimes. You know, race incident, but yeah, it's a new day today, so just trying to do our best and take it from there.
A new day and new conditions as well, because it looks pretty wet, doesn't it? We'll see. Best of luck to you. Thank you so much, Michaela. Good luck to Johan Kristoffersson as well, her teammate. We're going to head into the Acciona Sainz garage now, of course. P2 for Acciona Sainz yesterday. And Fraser McConnell is just here. I'm going to grab him for a quick chat. Taking a look at the car, which looks pristine ahead of a second day of racing here. P2 yesterday. How would you reflect on that final overnight?
It was very good. Laya did an incredible start. You know, with this new rule in place, the males have to do 50% of the starts as well as the females. So all of the races, you have to pick and choose who's going to start from the day before. And, you know, yesterday we went with the strategy of Laya starting, which meant that she would start the final. And, you know, she did an incredible job. She bossed the start like a pro, and, you know, brought the car to me in second. So I just carried it home, tried to chase down the leader, but, you know, the pace was there. We had fastest lap in the final. So we're going to go today with a clear head, clear mindset, and ready to win.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Fraz. Well done for yesterday, and good luck today as well. OK, our second race of the morning then is coming up. This is qualifying 1, race number 2.
Heat 2 time here in Scotland. It is very wet out there on the track after heavy rain overnight. And I think it's livened things up. There's also a spring at the top of the hill, Jenny, which some of the drivers mentioned yesterday means that bit of the track will never dry, and it certainly didn't dry yesterday, but I don't think there's any danger of drying right now. More beautiful Scottish wildlife for you guys to take a look at.
Is that another osprey?
I don't know. Do you remember last year there were nesting ospreys up on one of the cliffs, and they managed to make a bit of space for it. But we're heading down to the command centre for a very special interview because it's Matthias Ekström. Matthias, happy birthday to you.
Oh no, no one needs that.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, happy birthday, dear Matthias.
Happy
birthday to you.
Thank you very much. It was beautiful. Your singing is amazing.
How old are you, mate? 21 again today, I guess, and you're hoping to celebrate with a race victory, I'm sure. It looks slippery out there, even for a birthday.
Yeah, it's nice to celebrate your birthday, and I don't know about you, but I start to feel younger and younger year by year, so yeah, let's hope we can have a good party tonight and have a clean day and enjoy it.
I'm interested. If it's my birthday, I'd have cake before I was getting going for the day, breakfast time. Have you had any cake? What is your pre-race diet?
No cake. I actually have to start getting ready. I think the start is soon. Make sure you don't miss the start. I have to dress up as well, so we take the cake later.
Okay.
I think Matthias wants to go, so he wants to go and get. So, mate, the best of luck. It's slippery out there. Looking forward to seeing you and Christina put on a good show. Go and send it, mate. So yeah, Matthias, the reason he wants to get ready is actually the command centre is at the top of the hill. Obviously, they've then got a little walk out to the switch zone, and the first couple of laps only take less than 5 minutes. I think it's about 2.5k per lap. Getting ourselves ready to go. Q1 race 2 coming up.
Attention all teams. Stand by for the start of Hydro X Prix. Qualifying round 1, Heat 2 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Here we go then. Race 2 coming up. You can see Ekström over on the left. That's his head and neck safety device he's putting on there. There's a number of different ones of those available. That one's quite preferred by the drivers now. You can see from Andretti, there's Timmy Hansen. He's wearing the original Hansen device. They get those clipped on. There's quite a lot for a driver to do. You want to put your comms in, put your balaclavas on, get your helmets on. Gloves as well if your hands are hot and sweaty. That's why they want to get themselves prepped, because they don't want to be rushing when they get in the car. 45 seconds for that crucial switch. All the females are starting, all the males are in the command centre. Fraser mentioned it a minute ago, there's a rule this year that they have to split the start. So really interesting strategy from who is in the car on the grid and who's up in the command centre each of these races.
Let's take it from right to left. So right is Laia Sanz for Acciona Science in that red car. In the middle, you've got RXR in the black and green. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski at the wheel. Katie Munnings for Andretti Autokila. And then on the far left, you've got Christina Gutierrez, teammates of Matthias Ekström in that papaya McLaren. Lining up for the start. It's a green light, lots of wheel spin. Good start from Sanz over on the side. She'll try and get the whole shot. You can see the battle is real. McLaren take the lead at this point. Sainz is really challenging. She wants to slip it through on the inside of turn 2. Is there room for her to do that? Let's see the acceleration up the hill. No, she can't do it. It's the Neon McLaren that's out in front, and Christina Gutierrez again doing so well off the start line, and Laia Sanz nowhere to go, nowhere to challenge.
I'll tell you what, RXR struggled massively off the line there. They had a tank slapper from the second they got off the line. And interestingly, they're the one team that didn't use the extra power. I'm always Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski has her in Noah hyperdrive left. She slides up the inside of Katie Munnings. It's a nice pass, tiny bit of contact. Now the difference in slippery conditions is a tiny bit of contact will result in a lot more movement from the other car. Katie comes across to the inside, down flag there, so that's one of the front 2 cars. I didn't see who clipped that flag. We'll wait for race control to get across it. But yeah, Arlen-Kotlinski's got the hyperdrive. I don't know where you use it, Jenny. There's not many places I would want the extra power. Everybody tried off the start, and it gave no noticeable advantage to anyone.
Katie Munnings really struggling for visibility in that Andretti car at the back. And her wipers, I don't know how much juice she's got in there, how much water she's got to spray on it, but you can see that number 27 car, Katie Munnings really struggling behind the RXR car of Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski.
So So look how early they are on the brakes after that jump. Yesterday we noticed that the jump is kind of in the braking zone, the one that comes out of the Continental traction change. So you're in the air, you don't want to overshoot the corner. That's even more so now. When you jump on the brakes in wet conditions, it's not quite the same. We had a problem, spin for Gutierrez. Gutierrez has spun the Neon McLaren at the start, and she was leading the pack. She dropped back to P3, same place that Timo Scheider made a mistake earlier. So one little mistake, off track, back round, she's down to third.
We didn't see what happened. Hopefully we'll get a replay of exactly what happened, but that is a disastrous turn of events for Cristina Gutierrez. She's back down to third, but she's got that car set up well. It looks like that McLaren's performing, so can she claw that back? She's currently 2.4 seconds away from the lead, so it's really close out front.
It was them that dropped the flag. It's just popped up on the timing screen. I'm sure we'll get a look at that later. So they've had 2 mistakes now on the first lap, but it's looking tough for them to make it through. Arlen Kotlinski, look, uses the Innova Hyperdrive up the hill. That's kind of where we thought that it might go down. The gap was 1.25. It's gone up to 1.4. So Laia Sanz doing well, holding her off. There are the crew for Neon McLaren.
Oh, Gary Pavitt, hello, good morning. Nice to see a former racer taking control of the team, and you can see Cristina Gutierrez just applying that handbrake.
He's on the radio too, so he's on the radio, I reckon, to Gutierrez, or potentially to... Gutierrez has got terrible visibility. The screen's absolutely plastered in mud, and the wipers have only just got going, so she will be struggling a bit to see. He could be on the radio to Ekstrom, who would be in the switch zone, to say, look for this section, look for that section. They'll be looking all the while at where the grip is and where the opportunities are.
Yeah, the car's really closed up for that moment, and then they've elongated itself. Look at that. It's just so hard, the conditions. And how much driving do you do on mud? How experienced will these drivers be dealing with these conditions?
Depends where they've come from. I mean, most of them, with the background they've got in rally and rallycross, will have spent some time on it as a surface. This is kind of, you know, some of our track here is unprepared, which is what Extreme is all about. You know, we go to venues and race on different surfaces. So look at this, look how slippery it is there. Laia trying to turn in, nip on the handbrake to get the rotation, then she's waiting and feeling with the steering back onto the gravel, and you're back onto the throttle and away. So they're really having to feel their way through it. But yeah, Jenny, this will be challenging even for those who had time on that kind of surface.
I mean, Laia Sanz is the perfect person that you'd want out front. Look at the close that up. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski's really closed in on Laia Sanz, but she's got so much experience. Desert, mostly on 2 wheels, but maybe that's helping her actually, because that 2-wheel traction and this...
Well, don't forget she's done all the trials as well. So look for the flag in the lead here for McLaren. There it is, down on the inside. And that is a race control decision of a 10-second penalty. So they had the spin, and they've now got a 10-second penalty. It's going to drop them to the back of the pack. There it is on board. Look at that on the handbrake. So she's gone on the handbrake because she knows she's lost it. She's actually avoided the flag, which is a good thing. Spins the car back round, but by now obviously lost 2 positions as well. Here it is.
So this is it from the air, the drone capturing that perfectly, and yeah, just going off track. Unfortunate for her.
Same place as Scheider.
Yeah, it's obviously a tricky bit of the track, and everyone will learn that as they go along.
Downhill and very greasy.
This is the first time they've taken it on this track this morning. They did the same thing yesterday, but obviously conditions were very different. Laia Sanz has handed over first out of the gates for Fraser McConnell.
And look at Kristoffersen, he could not be closer behind. This will be a fantastic race. Timmy Hansen gets released and slots in behind. Ekstrom is in the car as well, so these are some of the giants of rallycross in terms of history, but also at the moment off-road motorsport. These are big names from the various different series, and I'm looking forward to this, Jenny.
Lots of grab matches. You've got the birthday boy out there in the 3rd car. That's the Papaya Neon McLaren that's out there, and they will be looking to try and get this back. Matthias Ekstrom versus Timmy Hansen at the back, Johan Kristoffersen and Fraser McConnell.
Kristoffersen's lined up alongside, look, because he wants to release the throttle immediately. He'll try and see if he can get any kind of advantage. He goes to the right-hand side. Look at that. McConnell's gone to the inside line, so Johan's gone for a different traction, if you like, down the outside of the track. Hasn't gained him any time on McConnell this time. Fraser McConnell has actually, we joked yesterday about the whole Scottish heritage thing. He's got family members at the event with him, his mum and dad there, Peter and Stephanie, and a bunch of blood relatives who are from and live in Scotland. So absolutely brilliant for the Jamaican to have some home support so far from home.
Yeah, absolutely. They've used their Renault Hyperdrive as well off the restart from the switch zone. Everyone's used it apart from the Neon McLaren. They've still got theirs in their supply, so we'll have to look where Ekstrom is going to use that. Someone's just hit a flag. We don't know who it is. Sainz, so out front. Yeah. Axiona Sainz and Fraser McConnell's taken down a flag, so that might be another penalty for them. We'll have to wait for race control.
So remember, this is so tricky, isn't it? Because at the moment, with the times the way they are, there's just about 10 covering the 4 cars. So Ekstrom would drop behind Hansen with their penalty. If the Sainz squad gets a penalty as well, they might drop behind. So this might elevate Andretti Altakile up into P2.
Here's a replay.
Yeah.
So you can see Fraser McConnell just going straight over that. That will be and you see is under investigation for a dropped flag at waypoint 8, lap 3. So Fraser McConnell could have a penalty coming their way. The command centre, they will be telling them that. They will be in communication with those cars. And as you can see, it flashes up on your screen right now. So can Johan Kristoffersen, against all odds, get the win? It started so badly for RXR, but yet again, they look to come through.
There's a big hole on the inside of this corner where everyone's hugging the flag. Not a problem for the drivers, but they'll be aware of it. It's Johan's squad. If I were RXR, it's him that I would particularly be on the radio to going, listen, both cars in front and behind you have got potential penalties, because what they can do now is avoid any unnecessary contact. He can follow Fraser to the line and he'll take the win. Now, if he can pass him, he would, but in these slippery conditions, you maybe won't. Look at sideways. Hansen's going at the back there. You're looking at Ekstrom in the middle of your screen. The Andretti Altakile just stepped out of line. There's the hyperdrive, a hyperdrive up the hill. That's tricky with that flag, because I think that was already out of the holder, but that might be a second one the way we're going. I think it was down.
Ekstrom wants the move on Johan Kristoffersen. He's just gone to the inside. It didn't work out, and now he's getting taken by Hansen, who's spied that and gone up the inside. Down waypoint flag again. Oh no, this is a lot of problems. Look at the visibility. It's so hard out there. It's not surprising that they are taking down waypoint flags. 10-second time penalty for car number 55. That's the car out in front. Fraser McConnell. At the moment, he's only got a 3.8-second gap to second place, Johan Kristoffersen. So this penalty will take the lead away from them.
It's somewhat comedic, isn't it, in that all three of them, I think they're going to hold position now wherever, other than RXR moving to the top. It should then finish Axiona Sainz, Neil McLaren and Andretti, because I anticipate Andretti will get a penalty. They will argue that they were nudged into that flag by Ekstrom in the McLaren, but I don't think they'll get it. I think they'll be given the penalty.
We had slightly similar yesterday, didn't we, where they were nudged a little bit.
He was inside, wasn't he? I think if you're outside, you get nudged wide, but when you're inside, tricky. Fraser McConnell on the handbrake through the left-hander. Going to drop the Axiona Sainz machine down the hill, but he will know himself that he's clipped that flag. He wanted a 10-second gap. If he can get 10 over Ekstrom at the back, he might actually hold on to P3. But McConnell takes the flag here in Scotland, but they're going to get a penalty as well. RXR coming over the line, 5.7 back. It should be a win for Kristoffersen, Arlen Kotlinski. Ekstrom is at the back here. How much was the gap? It was only 6.1. It ends up being, looks like 16.3, but I don't know whether that's with penalties or not. We're going to have to wait and see. So I think RXR will take it, but I say we'll wait until all the penalties are in. You can see at the bottom of your screen, RXR showing 9.52, and it's showing plus 4.29 for Axiona Sainz. Although they're at the top of the screen, I think they'll be
They haven't got the penalties applied yet.
Yeah, they haven't, you're right. And I think Munnings and Hansen will still be under investigation, so they haven't had their penalty applied yet.
Wowee.
Slippery. Really, the best drivers in the world struggling with the grip levels. That tells you how slippery it is out there.
Yeah, unfortunate for people to go out there and be on the best that they can and still getting those waypoint flags knocked out. I mean, yeah, we can't say it enough. It rained very heavily overnight. We've got sunshine and blue skies today, but that wasn't the conditions overnight, and you can just see the mud just waiting there, saying, come to me, I want to stick all over your car and make visibility almost impossible.
Confirmation of the penalty there for Axiona Sainz. This is their one, so Fraz just got a bit too much rotation in the corner. You're desperate to get it turned in, so you try to get the rotation on the car. Now this one, I think that flag's already out of its holder. We're pretty sure that's not going to be a down flag, but Neil McLaren have already got one from earlier on. They are under investigation for waypoint 5. There's the one where Timmy was up the inside of Ekstrom. Ekstrom turned in and Timmy ended up clattering the flag as well. That's waypoint 9. That's still under investigation. So McLaren could get a second one, but oof.
Let's go down to the command centre. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski is there for us. Michaela, I mean, the conditions, we've said it so many times, it's so muddy. I don't know how you can see anything in those cars.
No, I mean, it was really muddy out there, and I think, you know, we were discussing before, just try to keep vision clear as much as possible and, you know, keep lines and so on. So, yeah, we did as planned, but it's muddy out there and it's tough to see, so, yeah.
Just looking at a replay of your start, it looked like there was no traction and you were sliding all over the place. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, we watched the start from the same position in Heat 1, and we saw that it was so slippery, but I have to say it was even more slippery when I got there, so I just tried from there on to don't make any try to not make any mistakes and just keep it clean, and yeah, it gave us a good position in the switch, and then with a penalty, a win for Heat 1, so that's definitely a good start for the day.
Yeah, it's worked out well, hasn't it? I saw you guys saved your Renault Hyperdrive for later in the lap. Is there a big gain up that hill? It's really hard for us to tell, to be honest. It's so slippery as well. There can't be many places you can deploy it usefully.
Well, when it was so slippery, like you say now, it was, of course, an advantage up the hill for sure, but not as much as when it's a bit drier. So yeah, like I said, we sort of start from Heat 1 and decided, probably not using that hyper in that muddy start.
And in terms of, I mean, obviously, it's a lovely to get a win in right at the start. Everybody else had downed flags, I think, in your race. How's the weather? Do you think the conditions are going to improve or not? Because with the spring at the top of the hill as well, I mean, I think it's going to stay wet for most of the day, isn't it?
Feels like it. I mean, we did see though on Friday on the free practice when it was sunny that it did dry up quite quickly when it was hot. But I mean, we didn't have anything like this in the free practice. So yeah, let's see. We just work from what we have, drive from what we have, and try to do our best.
Michaela, I'm just fascinated to know what it feels like when you're behind the wheel. Is it similar to anything you've ever experienced when you're out there in so much mud?
I'd say it's like during the winter, if you have ice driving and it's really slushy on the ice, something like that.
Oh, crikey. It makes it hard work.
Worse vision. The vision is better than on the slushy ice than here.
Okay, there we go. That gives you an idea. So yes, slushy ice is about the grip levels they've got. Michaela, thank you very much. Well done to you and Johan. Best of luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
So we go, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski giving you a good idea of what it's like. So it's very, very slippery indeed. Fantastic stuff from our first two qualifying races. Fair bit of action, no big crashes. Looking forward to the rest of the day. That was that start, Jenny, that you asked her about. I mean, she was wildly sideways. Really interesting what she said about keeping the visibility. So look here, she's offline. Do you remember when Johan came out the switch? I think that line was nothing to do with traction. I think he didn't want the screen plastered by Fraser McConnell 2-3 feet in front of him off that grid start. As soon as you lose the visibility, you can't do anything. So just another sign of how the likes of Kristoffersson operate at that level where they go, I'm going to move across here and stay out. This was the pass by Arlen-Kotlinski on Munnings. Yeah, it's a fair pass. It looks worse than it is because it's slippery and it's off camber in that corner.
Yeah, I thought she might get the traction to just launch another attack, but then she went down the inside, so it wasn't to be, unfortunately for them.
This is Gutierrez. Look, she's on the handbrake, and unfortunately she's still got a bit of opposite lock on from the previous corner, so the wheels aren't facing in the direction she wants them to be facing to get it turned in. She would have ideally come off the brake, gone back on it, turned the car in and then pulled the handbrake, but you know, that's very easy for us to say. These conditions are so marginal that you'll be like, oh, that's perfect. Next up, you hear that horrible locked wheel noise and the car just goes straight on.
I've never heard you do a locked wheel noise. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's not the great. Sometimes it's just, that's even worse, Jen.
No, I can totally understand that. So into the switch zone. All of the female drivers handing over to the male drivers. so much talent in this field, and you can just see Johan Kristoffersen right up the back of Fraser McConnell and using that time just to get his systems ready, think about what he's going to do.
It's funny, isn't it, seeing them all dart out the switch in slow motion, 30 kilometres an hour, but yeah, just getting there. Here's Fraz. I feel for him, as I do the others, to be honest, because I don't think anybody willfully took a flag down. You know, they were all just tiny margins of difference, and when you're looking to try and take tenths of a second off some of the best drivers in the world, you've got to take those risks. You've got to try and turn the car, and you've got to try and get near the flag, and then unfortunately when the car does rotate just that little bit more than you thought it would, you end up clipping a flag.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the race control to see which penalties have dropped and which are still being investigated. So car 27, that's Andretti, 10-second time penalty. Car number 58, 10-second car penalty.
That's interesting, because I think they've given McLaren a second one.
Well, that might be for the waypoint flag that was already decked down. Well, we'll keep across them. We'll bring you all of the updates as we go through. Remember, loads more racing to come.
They have. I'm really surprised about that, because I think they'll appeal that. It won't make any difference, actually. So no, they would. It would give them one more position.
Yeah.
I think they'll appeal that, because I think that flag was out of its holder, Jen. You can see the holder up on the top. But either way, very, very tricky conditions. And as we've already said, if these guys and girls are struggling with it, you can rest assured it is slippery.
So let's have a look at all the penalties. I think Andretti clocked one. You can see there it's beautiful surroundings, but that water and the lush scenery, that's what leads us to having loads of rain and loads of problems on this course and another tricky session. So this race control decision. Car 27, that's Andretti, get a 10-second time penalty for dropped waypoint flag 9 here.
Tricky stuff, isn't it? So we're going to head down and have a catch-up with Laura Winter. She's in the Explorer Lounge, which is where me and Jenny would very much like to be. The Explorer Lounge is a lovely big tent on site. You were actually there last year, Jenny.
Yeah, they have lovely campfires with marshmallows, and my daughter absolutely loved putting it into the fire.
I can have a marshmallow. That would be good. Maybe Laura Winter's having one right now. Let's head down to the Explorer Lounge and find out.
We're here in the Extreme E Explorer Lounge. This is where the very great and the good of this championship like to hang out. We've got VIPs, invited guests, our partners, drivers pop in here to chill out between sessions, and scientists also come in to give talks about that extended legacy program that we see in Extreme E. Actually, Vodafone Business are here as well. They've got their own setup. I'm just going to rudely interrupt Ruben here, technology lead for Vodafone Business. Talk me through the technology, brilliant technology that Vodafone Business are using in the Scotland Legacy Programme.
Yes, so we have a number of different tech that we're putting in here. We have an IoT Internet of Things connected water buoy, which measures water quality, and also temperature tags to measure ambient and in-water temperature that help understand what's happening in the climate and hopefully tackle the challenges which Jim and the team have around salmon conservation.
Amazing stuff. Thank you very much, Ruben. Look, Vodafone Business do so much as well through race operations and, of course, in those legacy programs as well. And they are all overseen, produced, and the future very much looked to by our scientific committee. And I'm going to, once again, rudely interrupt Lucy Woodall here. Hello, Lucy. We're looking ahead, if I may interrupt, to Sardinia. And it's a blue and a green legacy there, isn't it? Talk us through some of the issues Sardinia face and what we're doing to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So the blue carbon is really thinking about how do we try and pull carbon dioxide out of our environment and then keep it into the ocean. So a way that carbon comes back out of the sediment is for any trawling, right? You can imagine that sediment gets resuspended. So the project in Sardinia this year is around trying to reduce trawling. So there's an area there by the harbour that is being declared a protected area, but it's really hard to get compliance at the moment. So part of the project is to put blocks of rock in to stop boats from coming in, but also being able to engage with those fishes and explaining this is a protected area. This is really important. It's going to allow for seagrass that's incredibly important as a habitat and as a carbon store to regenerate in that area. That'll be better for fisheries in the area in the future, but it'll also be better for our planet.
Brilliant stuff. Lucy, thank you. The work that the XE Science Committee are doing in Sardinia, here in Scotland as well, it is exemplary. Thank you very much indeed to you. Well, this is the Explorer Lounge. Look, and as I mentioned, it's where people like to hang out. You've got some McLaren team members just here, people able to watch the racing, and a few people grabbing a drink as well. It's all happening in here ahead of the racing coming up soon.
Great stuff from Laura down in the Vodafone Business Command Centre. You guys can have a bit of an influence on who ends up on pole later on today. So this is how grid play works. In the build-up to the final in each Extreme X Prix, fans can show their support and vote for their favourite teams and drivers through grid play. The voting takes place via the Extreme website. The team that collects the most votes gets first pick on their grid position in the grand final and will have the opportunity to massively influence the start of the race. But there is a twist. The teams that do not reach the grand final can donate their votes to any other team. With a strong start being key to a good X Prix result in Extreme, grid play could make or break a team's chances of success. Which team will emerge as firm fan favourites? Let's take a look at the results at the end of Q1, our first qualifying session for round 4 of Extreme 2024. That's a bit different than what we were expecting, so we'll have another crack at that, shall we? It's fine. Beautiful backdrops in Scotland, some great racing so far today already as well. And looking forward to Q2 later on today. You'll be able to see that, of course, with the final and the redemption race in this afternoon's show. Laura's had a chat with Fraser McConnell just recently.
Our conditions look unbelievably tough out there. Fraz, a down flag for you. Can you try and sum up what it's like in the driver's seat?
Oh no, it's super tricky out there, and the track is rough as it is already. Then you add some water, so just the car got a bit out of shape with a rut, and lost all the rotation that I had. So pushed me into the flag, unfortunately, and no one else to blame but myself. So I'm a bit frustrated, but Laya did such an incredible job to get the car into the switching first. Carried it over the line in first, but the penalty put us back. It's clear there's other people having some issues with flags as well, so hoping the stewards stick to their principle.
All right, well, hard luck, best of luck for qualifying too. Thanks, Fraz.
Thanks.
So Fraser very disappointed. I understand that. It's super stupid. He's saying, look, I hope the stewards stick to it because he wants all the others to get their penalties and that'll elevate them back up, which I get it. They finished first. If everybody else gets their penalties, they should end up heading up into P2, which would be a good result considering the problem we had.
Just to let you into the insight, we have a timing screen in front of us and it's time-stamped for each penalty that is received from a team. And I can't tell you how many investigations, drop waypoint flags.
It's scrolling fast.
It's very fast.
It's scrolling fast. So the Extreme H car is out on track now. That is Header Hozos. It's in the Red Bull livery, which they've become an official partner of the series. And Header has done a bunch of the testing. I was very lucky to be down in France when she was testing it with Romain Damas as well. Some really very different noises in the paddock from the hydrogen machines that are charging the cars up. Sounds like something out of Star Wars. And then obviously fuel cell on board, 50 litres of hydrogen, which helps to charge the smaller battery. But everything in that car is revised. Better suspension, better driver position, safer safety cell. We've seen some big old crashes, but lovely to see it. This is the first time actually this weekend that this car has been used on a proper Extreme E course, the sort of terrain that it will be used on next year in Anger.
And it's sort of apt, isn't it, that it gets its first spin out of the Hydro X Prix.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know all about the science. You've taught us. There's a lovely feature which you can see on the Extreme Odyssey programme. So you can have a look at that. And we'll just take a break and have a look at the qualifying Heat 1 to Heat 2 results, which is in 4th place. Ekstrom didn't get the birthday present he wanted. Then Andretti in 3rd. Acciona Science in 2nd place. These are with all the penalties we believe added on. And RXR somehow do it again and get 1st place. A good start to the day for them.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from them. There's a couple of teams that have, well, 3 teams that have been in all the finals. They are Rosberg X Racing, Acciona Science and Eon Veloce. So good job by RXR in this last one to make sure they're there. I think Fraser McConnell and Laya Sands will be pleased that with that penalty even, they are right up there. It's been a brilliant morning. As I say, you'll be able to see the rest of the qualifying action in this afternoon's show, so do make sure you join us for the remainder of round 4. Header Hozos continues to show you what the future of this sport looks like. Will be Extreme E right through to the end of this year, and then Extreme H from 2025. Thank you for joining us this morning. Great fun. Who's going to win today? Who's your money on? Let us know on social media. We'll be back this afternoon. From Laura Winter, Jenny Gowan, Andrew Cody, thank you. See you soon.